Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you use Google Sheets, you know the real magic is in the formulas. Today we are not just learning basic functions, we are leveling up with 6 essential power formulas that will turn you into a spreadsheet wizard. Those formulas are unique, countifs, SUMIFS, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and import range. We are working with this mock sales data set. We have hundreds of rows with details like region, product, salesperson, and total price. Let's dive right in and start extracting valuable insights. Let's find out every single product we have ever sold. So to do that, we type equal to unique, then select our entire product column which is present in column C. So we write C2, we need to exclude the header, C2 colon C, then we close the bracket, then hit enter. When you do that, the sheet automatically spill out a clean list of all products like laptop, phone and desk, and use this you can use this to instantly generate a master list of any column. Next, let's get specific with countifs. Notice the S at the end. This is how you count based on multiple conditions. So, suppose we want to count how many sales were made in the East region and were for laptop. The syntax takes alternating ranges and criteria. So we want to go for East and laptop. So the first criteria range is region, which is column B to B, is East, and second criteria range is product, which is in column C, and it should be laptop. So the entire complete formula would be equal to count ifs B2 to B, which was our region column, it should be East, comma, then the criteria we give after providing the range, we put a comma, then we provide the criteria for that range. In our scenario, it is East. So that would be, since it is a text, it would come in double inverted commas. Then we write East. Then our second criteria range is the product range, which is present in column C. So the second criteria range would become C2 to C. So this is our second criteria range. Then we have to put in the criteria, which in our scenario is laptop. Again, text, it would come in double inverted commas, laptop. Close the inverted commas, close the bracket, and then hit enter. This will give you the count, which is 53 in our scenario. This is the count of laptops which were sold in East region. Now this is the counting, the number of rows. We have counted the number of rows in which laptop is present in product column and East is present in the region column. Now the criteria for counting in our formula is East and laptop. If you notice, we have hard coded these values in our formula. What we can also do is, instead of providing the criteria, which is East and laptop, we can refer to a cell which gives you the flexibility of changing the criteria without editing the formula. So to do that, let us first edit the formula. As you can see, we have already written the first criteria value East in cell W2 and second criteria value laptop in cell X2. So all we need to do is replace the first criteria value with the address of the cell in which this value is present. In our scenario, that would be cell W2. Similarly, we do the same for our second criteria value, which is laptop. Its value is present in cell X2. So we replace this with X2. Then press enter. We get the same exact results. What you would have also noticed is previously when we were hard coding the criteria value within the formula, we were using double inverted commas. But when we are referencing a cell which contains the criteria value, we do not need to use the double inverted commas. Now let us do one more testing. Instead of east, suppose we write south. The value automatically changes because now the first criteria value which is present in cell W2 is changed, and the formula will now run with the updated value. Now for SUMIFS, just like COUNTIFS, the S means multiple criteria, but instead of counting we are going to calculate. Let us start with the problem statement wherein we need to find how much sales did Sophie do in wholesale. Now the sales is present in total price, which is column J. Region manager is present in column S, and the customer type, which is wholesale or retail, is present in column G. The syntax for SUMIFS is a bit different. So what we do is we start with equal to SUMIFS. Then we first enter the sum range, the column whose total we want to find. So in our case, it is the total price which is present in column J. So after SUMIFS, we open the bracket and enter J2 till J, J2 colon J. Then we provide a comma. Now we provide the criteria range and criteria exactly like we did while in our COUNTIFS formula. So our first criteria is region manager should be Sophie. So region manager is present in column S. So first criteria range, which is S2 till S. Then the criteria value, which in our scenario is Sophie. Now if you guys remember, since we are going to hard code it first, it is a text. We need to enter that value in double inverted comma. So we enter Sophie in double inverted comma. Then we enter our criteria range 2, which in our scenario is customer type, which is present in column G. So we enter the second criteria range G2 colon G. So it selects the entire customer type column which is present in column G. Then we enter the criteria value which we want to be wholesale. Then again we enter that in double inverted comma and write wholesale. We close the double inverted comma, then we close the bracket and then press enter. So here what you will find is Sophie in wholesale has done a total sales of 44,630. Now, like we did in our COUNTIFS formula, let us make this criteria values dynamic. So we enter Sophie and wholesale in one of our cells. We go back to the formula and we now change Sophie to the cell address in which Sophie is stored, which is present in W, column W and row number 5. So we replace Sophie with W5. Now let us change the reference for second criteria value. In our case it is wholesale. Wholesale is written in column X and row number 3. So it becomes X5. And then we press enter. Again we get the same answer. So there is only a slight difference between COUNTIFS and SUMIFS. In COUNTIFS, you provide the criteria range, then the criteria value, then another criteria range, then that criteria range's value. In SUMIFS, you first select the range whose sum you want to total or whose sum you want to calculate, then you provide the criteria ranges. Our next and arguably the most powerful formula, import range. This is how you pull data from one Google Sheet to another, both of them being completely independent Google Sheets. Now suppose we have another Google Sheet, which is this one, product cost price, in which we have the data present from cell A1 till B8. What we want to do is we want to pull this data in our existing Google Sheet. So to do that, we use import range function. This requires two things: the original sheet's spreadsheet ID and the range from which we need to pull the data. The spreadsheet ID is the long alphanumeric string present between /d/ and /edit. So we copy this from the URL of our original sheet, and then we go to this sheet wherein we want to pull this data, and in cell we write equal to import range bracket, in double inverted commas we paste the spreadsheet ID, then we close the inverted comma. Then we need to provide the range in which the data is present. So in our scenario, that range is in sheet 1, which is written here, from A1 till B8. So we again start with double inverted comma, sheet 1, then exclamation mark, then A1 colon B8. Then we close the inverted commas, then we close the bracket, and then we enter the formula. Once you do that, you will find this hashtag reference error. If you hover your mouse over it, you will see a pop-up in which you will find the allow access button. Once you click it, this securely establishes a link between the two sheets to pull the data. Once that is done, what you will find is the data is pulled in your new sheet. So this is how the import range function works. It pulls the data from another Google Sheet based on the spreadsheet ID, which is an alphanumeric long string present between /d/ and /edit. Copy this spreadsheet ID, enter it in the formula in double inverted comma, then you enter the range. Range is basically the tab name of the sheet. In our scenario, it is sheet 1. Then give an exclamation mark and then provide the range from which you want to pull the data, which in our scenario is A1 till B8. So this formula will pull all the data from this spreadsheet present in this tab and all the data present from range A1 till B8. Now it's time to connect the data. So we are going to use the most commonly used formula in Google Sheet and Excel, which is VLOOKUP. So suppose in our example, we want to find the cost price of every product. So what we have done earlier is we have imported those cost price from another Google Sheet via import range. What we want to do is we want to look up the cost price from this data range and get that value here in cell T2. To do that, we start with equal to VLOOKUP, which stands for vertical lookup. Then we enter the search key, which in our scenario is laptop, which is present in cell C2. This becomes our search key. Then we provide the data range. The data range is this data which we imported. Now one thing you need to make sure is what this formula is going to do. It is going to look up your search key in the first column of your data range. So in our scenario, the data range is present from W10 to X17. So the column W should have the value which you are looking for, which is present in the search key. So we provide the data range which is W10 to X17, then comma. Now what we want to do, we want to look up laptop in this column and get the respective value which is present in this column. Now this column is present in the second column of our selected data range. So laptop is present in column 1 of our data range and cost price is present in column 2. So we want to fetch the cost price. So we enter 2. Then we provide another condition wherein we say the criteria or the search key should match exactly with the data present in the first column of our data range. So we say it should be a perfect match. For that we enter 0, then close the bracket and press enter. So what this does is it looks up the value which is present in C2, then goes to the data range which is present in the range W10 to X17, looks up the value C2 in column W, then fetches the value which is present in the second column of this data range with an exact match. Now, as useful as it is, VLOOKUP does have some limitations. It needs your search range to be on the leftmost column of your lookup data range. You need to count the number of column from where you want to pick up the value. But we have a new function called XLOOKUP which solves all of these problems. So let's go straight into it. Let us get the cost price of the product in column U using the XLOOKUP function. To do that, we start with equal to XLOOKUP bracket, then search key, which in our scenario is cell C2, wherein we have the name of our product. Then we select the lookup range, which means the range in which you want to find the search key. Then which in our scenario is cell W10 to W17. After this, we want to find the result range, which in our scenario is from X10 till X17. So what we did here was we entered a search key and then entered the range in which we need to find the search key. Then we selected the result range whose value we want to pull. Then we close the bracket and we press enter. So this function, it reduces the necessity of counting the result range distance from the lookup range. It removes the necessity of having the criteria range on the leftmost column of your data range, and it is very simpler and it has a simpler format as compared to VLOOKUP. So in this video, you have unlocked the power of Google Sheets. You can now clean lists with unique, conditionally calculate with COUNTIFS and SUMIFS, perform flexible lookups with XLOOKUP, and build cross-file dashboards with import ranges. All the formula syntax is in the description below. If you found this useful, hit the like button and subscribe for more tutorials, and let me know which formula you are going to master first. Thanks for watching.